if they do that, they're going to be, the Cougs will be very, 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 very tough to beat.
Wilson! Oh! And we are tied!
Let's go! Call them by Slamma Jamma.
And I don't ever let them forget where we come from.
Getting those phones out. Report me acting ignorant.
Down Dean Connors. Found some daylight. Found the end zone. Touchdown, Houston.
Seventh heaven for Houston. The Cougars advance to their seventh Final Four.
Go Coogs! Let's go!
It's so good! The dream remains alive for the Houston Cougars.
Welcome in to another edition of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian Family, and big thank you to our secondary sponsor on today's edition of Let's Rage Coogs, In Star Pizza Houston. Big shout out to Mike and Jennifer Pittman for once again feeding us after the game. Unfortunately, after a 73-66 loss at the hands of the Arizona Wildcats, fourth-ranked Arizona Wildcats, as Houston now victim of back-to-back losses in this one. Kris, how are you doing, sir, first and foremost? And what are your thoughts initially on just this loss to Arizona?
Arizona beat Houston at Houston's game. I mean, but once again, 2 games in a row, points off turnovers. Houston lost the battle big time. Tonight, for a late second half, it was 16-0 points off turnovers. So the last 2 games, it's combined 28-3 for the opponent in points off turnovers.
That's been the story of the past 2 games, the past 2 losses for Houston. Their inability to create turnovers, at least at the level that U of H is accustomed to. Now, granted, they played some really good teams in back-to-back games in Iowa State and Arizona. With this loss to the Wildcats, Houston is at a disadvantage when it comes to just regular season standings. Obviously, Arizona, Houston, the only meeting of the season now. Arizona has a tiebreaker, so on top of that, Arizona kind of has a leg up and kind of an extra game, and it doesn't get any easier for Houston as they have to turn around and play at Kansas, who they're going to be motivated to shake off a really, really bad loss they suffered today at the hands of Cincinnati at home at Advent Fieldhouse. So, but that's definitely the key right there. Inability to force turnovers, and what Kelvin Sampson said after the game, we'll hear it on the post-game press coverage here in a second, but really having to play against Arizona's half-court defense, and quite frankly, just UH hasn't been able to execute well on a consistent enough basis. And we've seen kind of the droughts that have occurred in back-to-back games, back-to-back losses for Houston.
I'm looking forward to playing Coach Sampson's clip. He said it point blank. Houston struggles to score, has struggled to score in the half court, and needs to score off their defense, and needs to force turnovers and get easier buckets. And in these 2 losses, they have not done that. So we'll see what they need to do, can do, to score easier buckets and force some turnovers and make it easier on themselves in the half court. That's the start.
Dan, what are your thoughts on Houston's 73-66 loss to Arizona?
Man, just a tough loss. Arizona just looked like the better team today. Really just my takeaway, looked like the better team today. Like Kris said, lost the turnover battle, more turnovers today, and then not creating getting turnovers and turning those into points really hurt. But really adjustments in the half court, I haven't really seen much. And I mean, can't just kind of keep doing the same thing if it's not working.
And give credit to Mr. Big Texco's kind of touching on one of the points I wanted to say. Arizona's upperclassmen came through.
Yeah.
Houston's didn't. Del Orso is a senior, matched his season high in points of 22. He took advantage
He was balling tonight.
Isaiah Harwell. He took advantage of
advantage of anyone.
Mercy Miller. He took advantage of anybody.
Kingston. He had a nice move on Kingston early in the second half.
He took advantage of any Coug who tried to guard him. And then Karchenko, putting him at the 4, was a tough matchup when they switched on him with Kingston. He just scored over Kingston. So, he's a youngster. But Bradley and Del Orso came through with 39 points. That's from your upperclassmen. Manuel Sharp was on upperclassman, got it done for Houston, and he didn't shoot well from 3, 2 for
I
11.
gotta credit that to the coaching and their mismatch. And I mean, same old for Houston in the sense of trying to hunt the mismatch with the guard, the same trying to get the guard down here to create. Uh, which I mean, haven't seen enough of trying to get the ball to Kris. Yeah, he's going to be a way better pro than he is college player just because I don't think we're using him in a proficient way to allow his offensive ability to really shine. I mean, I can't remember a time in this game where we actually threw it to him and actually allowed him to try to score. And he's a good scorer. And so got to be some adjustments made at some point.
But where is his strength to score, in your opinion?
He can score whether he shoot mid range, he can face up, he can get to a jump hook.
No, he's not strong enough to get a jump hook over Toby Awaka.
He don't have to be
Mid-range,
strong.
mid-range,
Back
yes.
down. In basketball, you don't have to back him down. He can face up, jab, step, swing right, come off 2 feet and shoot a jump hook. That has nothing to do with strength. He has the length, he has the skill, he has the ability to do it. In which they don't throw him the ball. He can face up, shoot over the top. He can use his quickness to go around. He doesn't have to back anybody down. He's not a back to the basket player, but he's still a good
Agreed.
offensive player.
He's better in the mid-range. I want to see him get more touches in the mid-range.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't got any touches.
His jump hook, he airballed a jump hook on Monday. He panicked.
That's one shot.
But that's not his strength. His jump hook is not a strength. His mid-range is a strength. So
All
Houston
right.
mid-range need to get him more touches. He's
Okay.
standing around 3-point line shooting threes, and he's not making them. That's not the strength of his game. He needs a mid-range touches. That's what he needs more of.
Yeah. And that really makes him one-dimensional oftentimes. He's just out there. He's kind of just another role player.
That's a waste of his talent right there. Waste of his height. They're standing around the perimeter.
That's because there's no adjustment to get him the ball. It's the adjustments to get the ball to the guards and let him pick and pop. That's the adjustment. Where's the adjustment? That's not on him. He's being where he's told to be. That's not on him. Get him the ball.
Which is what I'm saying. Get him mid-range touches.
And
that's
paint
what I'm
touches.
saying.
He can score in the paint as well. And
he needs more touches in the paint. Mid-range, whatever you want to call it, he needs to do something besides stand around the perimeter.
Chris and tonight, 4 of 11 from the field, 0 for 5 on threes, was 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and once again got a double-double and got 13 rebounds. Had a stretch there in the second half when Houston made the rally and eventually took the lead, for he was going out there and crashing the boards very, very strongly. Finished with 10 points overall in the game. But down the stretch, and interestingly enough as well, down the stretch, there was a lot of times when Chase McCarty was in, until about the 2-minute mark down with left in the game. But I think the biggest issue for Houston offensively is just we heard Kelvin's perspective, just in terms of not forcing it's not even turnovers, it's more getting in transition. They didn't feel like
missed rebounds of defense too.
Yep. With Emmanuel Sharp and Miles using, they didn't feel like they did a good consistently enough job of finishing a lot of possessions with the defensive rebounds, and that's a big part of getting out in transition too. Looking at the fast break points, Arizona had the advantage, 12-7, just in fast break, and let me pull up the transition points. Give me a second to find them. But ultimately, that, at the end of the day, is going to be something that really, really helps Houston if they're able to get out, run, and basically beat teams down the floor, especially when you're talking about defensive teams like the past two in Iowa State and Arizona, who they can defend you just as well. If not tonight, arguably Arizona did a much better job against Houston on defense, looking at just the scoring numbers, the shooting percentage, top to bottom. Kingston Fleming, 6 of 17 from the field. Sanak, 4 of 11. Milos, 3 of 8. Emmanuel, just 2 of 11. And as a team, they shot 35% from the field. And you also had some uncharacteristic turnovers from the Houston side of things. They finished with 12 in the game, and a lot of those came in the first half. They were just literally thrown away, uncharacteristic, giving it right to Arizona. And that's a big reason why the Wildcats, especially in that first half, they were in control for much of the game, and quite frankly, for the entire first half.
They led the entire first half. Houston was lucky to be down only 5 points. Lucky, fortunate, whatever. Arizona's offense against Houston's defense. I mean, they shot 55% in the first half. Kind of came back down to earth. Houston defense did a better job overall second half. Arizona in the second half only made 34% in the second half. But they did a better job on Houston's offense than Houston did on Arizona's offense down the stretch. But you look at some of the numbers, Houston outscored Arizona 20-12 in second chance points. But when they needed to get a defensive rebound in those closing 2-3 minutes, they didn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
That's something they've done, other teams have done. And one thing Coach Sampson, he kind of said it, Andy, how long are you going to play in the how much minutes of his opening comments you're going to play.
Mm-hmm.
But he said Arizona reminded him of previous Houston teams.
It's Houston teams, which I found interesting as well. Let's hear what head coach Kelvin Sampson had to say following the 73-66 loss. Give me a second here. Make it full screen. Let's hear from him.
Of our pick and rolls against them last year. So what we did was spread the floor, and we started hunting matchups that we thought was beneficial for us. And so we did a really good job of guarding Kripis and the other big kid. They weren't hurting us on the block. They weren't hurting us in the pick and roll. What they did though was pick on matchups, especially with Korchenkov. They got the switch they wanted, and Korchenkov, 6'7", 250.
Technical difficulties. Let me. It'll pop up in a second.
On the last screen, Del Orso bangs that three. But we don't, all year long, we haven't thrown the ball inside. We haven't had someone that we could throw the ball inside and attract the double team and be consistent with scoring. So what we've been all year is a jump shot shooting team. And that's okay, you can win a lot of games doing that. But at some point, you've got to get transition points. And that's the last two games that has been our biggest bugaboo, is we're having to play way too much in the half court, way too much. We're not scoring off our defense as much. Now, what teams are doing is not playing as much in the pick and roll, which is traditionally we've always been, and this team's been good at that too, is guarding pick and roll and taking our principles and how we guard and get deflections and steals and turnovers and turn those into points. So in the second half, toward the end there, we've come in, we were going those long stretches without making a shot, and then they'd extend the lead. And then they missed 3 or 4 shots. We held them to 34% in the second half. That's not easy to do against that team. But we held them to, is that right? Yeah, we held them, they were 10 for 29 Problem is that if you're not going to turn them over, their misses, we've got to turn into transition points. The one transition opportunity we had was Kingston pulled up and hit a three, but that's off a rebound. It keeps us out of half court. We just got stuck playing way too much half court today. We're converting their missed shots into transition opportunities. Sometimes that's a fine line in that. Sometimes it's, we're going after it and somebody tips it and next thing you know they have it. We have a lot of those, seems like, today. But, we've had some great battles with Arizona, and they're really good. I'd say that's a good team. We've got an outstanding team, really well coached. They remind me of a lot of the teams that we've had around here. When they came in here with the right mindset, and maybe we didn't have the right mindset as much as we needed to. But we recovered. We got off to such an auspicious start. First play, they shoot, miss, get the rebound, and Joe throws it to the guy sitting over there on the sideline. It's never a good thing if it's not one of the guys in our uniform. They had us on our heels early, and we just got to have time, figured some things out, and came out the second half. Took the lead and had 2 or 3 possessions after that to extend the lead. Just didn't get it done tonight.
We'll go far left here, Coach.
Hey, Coach. This being a matchup between the top 2 teams in the Big 12, what do you think it says not only about the amount of high-level teams in the conference, but also how do games like this prepare you for the Big 12 tournament and also the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, well, there's both good teams. Arizona has, they've got great size, but their best team tonight was when Kurchenkov was at the 4. I didn't think their bigs impacted the game as much as I thought their matchup hunting. Struggled to guard certain guys. And then, for us, we have to make some threes. We had plenty of opportunities, plenty of looks. We just got to keep hanging in there and got to knock those shots down. But Arizona's good. Iowa State's good. Not a lot of difference in any of the 3 teams. I mean, all 3 of those teams. We have a good team. We just didn't play good enough tonight to win.
Joseph?
So Tommy was saying that, they had 2 losses in a row coming into the week. He said sometimes when you have that, it gives you a chance to find things to fix, maybe challenges you. You sort of subscribe to that in terms of what you can maybe take out of this and build off of.
Well, I've been coaching a long time, Joseph. Losing has never bothered me that much, because losing is part of the journey. You're going to lose games. Now, we win around here so much, sometimes you forget that we can lose too. When you're winning 30-some games 4 or 5 years in a row, and you're winning the conference championship in one conference, you flip conference, still winning. You assume that it's easy. It's not. We could have easily won not easily, but we certainly could have won the Tennessee game. Certainly could have won the Texas Tech game. We're leading late both of those games. And with Iowa State. But when you're playing for these stakes at this high level, and the other teams are just as good as you are, sometimes it comes down to little things. Like the other night, missed block out on a free throw. Devil's in the details. And when they shoot and miss a 3, it's going to be a long rebound. It's going to be a long rebound. And we didn't scoop enough of those up. Had we scooped up some of their long rebound misses, I think we could have turned those into some transition opportunities and got us going. But we've got to figure something out with our defense, because our defense is allowing us to play way too much in the half court. And that's a tough way to make a living against tough defenses. We've been on the other side of that for a long time, so I know how hard that is.
Good. We'll take questions.
So once again, that was head coach Kelvin Sampson. Just reacting to the loss to Arizona. Kris, I didn't believe you about what you said last time, or not that I didn't believe you, but you mentioned the noise from the
photographer.
Like, come on, I don't know what what that is, but anyways, that's besides the point. The comment from head coach Kelvin Sampson right there, we mentioned, really that last portion, that last soundbite right there, in terms of attributing to rebounding, getting out to transition. And it kind of connects with the inability to force turnovers against, again, two really high-quality opponents tonight. Only 5 turnovers by Arizona, which you give credit to them. They did a great job taking care of the ball, and I felt like Arizona was never rushed, or they were comfortable from the opening tip of this game. Even the first possession, they missed. They got the offensive rebound and score a basket, and from there, they were kind of like cruising. Even when Houston made their run, they never panic, which, again, that shows the high quality level of team that Arizona is. But that's a testament to them, because you don't see a lot of teams do that, especially inside the Fertitta Center against Houston. And they were cool, calm, and collected for the entire day. And for most of it, they were in control.
Jaden Bradley. I mean, he's faced Houston before. He looked like it. He played like an upperclassman. He kept them in control. He kept them organized. I mean, he played like a great player that he is, and it showed. The upperclassmen led them to this victory.
Yeah, Crabtree keeping it with the glass half full perspective. This is the Big 12 just in terms of the stretch. Arizona, before this week, they had lost back-to-back games after being undefeated for the entire season. And you see if we get to that part of the clip later on in the show, and we hear from Arizona coach Tommy Lloyd. But this is a league where it can spiral very quickly. Like, that was the phrase that he mentioned, and considering the two opponents that they faced this week at BYU during the weekend, obviously here at Houston, give testament to them, because they've been able to figure things out. And again, they came out and were quite frankly dominant for much of the game against Houston, and you just don't see that often. This is tweeted out by Chancellor Johnson, but leading into this game, Houston was 51 and won 51 of the past 52 games. Teams don't come in here often and win. Houston was on an 18-game home winning streak. Arizona came in here and, I mean, they made it look relatively not easy, but they made it look comfortable, especially down the stretch once they went on that 12-0 run and never looked back.
They led for 36 minutes of the ball game. They played the passing lanes in the first half. JoJo's turnovers were careless.
Bad, really bad.
Kingston early turnovers weren't good either. It was a bad start, as Coach said, inauspicious start with those turnovers. But Arizona played well. They played like a team that is faced. I mean, Coach Lloyd has said this through a lot of this season, a lot of the off season. He built his team like the Houston Cougars. Physical up front, size up front, and physical defense. And he gave Coach Sampson a lot of credit in his post-game press conference. So, as I said earlier in the show, Arizona beat Houston at its own game. And at times, you have to give the opponent credit. That's the bottom line. No shame in this game. Houston, for my taste, took too many threes down the stretch. But it goes to what Dayon said, no mid-range game, nothing else. It was threes or that was it. That was it. And when those threes aren't falling, they're not crashing the board to scoring enough offensively. But one more time, they outscored Arizona 20-12 in second chance points. They won the battle of the boards overall, but it's the timely rebounds that they did not get today, nor against Iowa State on Monday. And that's the reason why they lost 2 in a row. A big reason why they lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think you said a key word, Andy, is comfortable. They look really comfortable. Arizona all game. Even when Houston took the lead, started the game, they really just looked comfortable. They looked very prepared for what Houston was going to do. I didn't see any adjustment. Houston plays how Houston plays. No adjustment. I didn't see many. I think they just came out and played a little harder, but really, they were really prepared for how Houston plays and what they do. I mean, we didn't really see much outside of what Houston's been doing. I'm just thinking back to the Auburn game, first play, Emmanuel sets a fraud screen for Chris coming from the free throw line, get him down the mid range and 1-on-1. I mean, where's that been? We haven't seen that in months. And so it's just a credit to Arizona coaching staff and players to come out to execute the game plan.
You're being kind earlier, but it's coaches. It's on the coaching staff to get Kris better touches, better shots, the curl action pick. There's none of that. As you said, where has that been? They defended Houston the old playbook, but a player talented like Kris Gardner got to get involved more, better looks offensively. JoJo's not ready. No, JoJo has been poor for most of this entire season. Overall, he's regressed. He is not ready for the NBA. No way, no how. No. He was non-factor.
I think Kris is going to be a way, way better pro than he is a college player just because the way he'll be used. I mean, that tough shot that he came off 2 feet and kissed it off the glass was very Tim Duncan-like. And just the poise over Walker, he's going to be – we
jump
just
stop. Yeah, I want more of
underutilizing
that.
him
Yeah, I
a
want more of
lot.
that from him. Yep.
A lot. And so
He was key when they made that run and they took the lead. He was just active, and you can see him going. It was kind of like an avalanche. He's getting active on the boards. He's making an impact on defense. He's being utilized on offense, and it just stagnated. And something that both Kingston Fleming and Milos Uzan said on Thursday leading up to this game is that offensively, it's interesting. I don't want to say that it feels like they're still trying to work kinks out, but they said spacing-wise, there's still a little errors here and there that this leading up to the Arizona game, they said that they felt kind of custom against Iowa State. And then today, again, late execution down the stretch. It's a lot of settling. Like you said, Chris, it's like a lot of home run plays that they were trying to get, especially once they went down 10. And then they were down 8. It was a 3 from Emmanuel Sharp, a 3 from Kingston, a 3 from Milos, trying to get back fast and efficiently, and they just haven't been able to do it, or lack of efficiency, I should say. And it's at the end of the day, it's just too much settling. They're not attacking the paint consistently. Granted, they started attacking the paint when it was too late, and Arizona was already up 8, and they were more than content to exchange 2-pointers down the stretch in the game. But they need to be that aggressive or get into the paint much more consistently, whether it's coming straight off the guards or, like you guys have mentioned, trying to get Kris Gardner more touches in that low post mid-range area. And even if it's not him to attack and take a shot, at least utilize him as a decoy and try to free up some of your guards with off-ball movement.
He missed 8 threes down the stretch the last 12 minutes. Not enough. When they were down 10, they decided to attack. They were more aggressive and played faster in the closing 2 minutes.
It was too late.
It's too late. Exactly. It was too late.
And Arizona was more than content to trade free throws for 2.
So, they got to play faster. They have to figure out a way to get easier points, as Dayon has touched on for as long as we've been doing Let's Rage Coogs shows. And they have
fouls. We haven't mentioned fouls, but fouls was a big key in this game too. I mean, I don't want to blame the refs because Houston, some of those were fouls. So we got to do a better job of not fouling. But it wasn't consistent with the calls, I will say, on both sides. There's some calls that we got that Arizona made the same type of bump that they didn't blow the whistle on the other end. So fouls was a big key too. JoJo, I mean, at this point, he's really good defensively, but he's such a liability offensively that it may be considered going with an extra 4 guards and Kris. Or get Sacco in there more. The Sacco, I mean, he at least have good hands. And
not the one he dropped, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean with that one, but for the most part, yeah.
Well, Kelvin mentioned in his postgame presser too, but once Houston got up by even if it was just 2 points, they did have an opportunity to extend the lead, or at least when Arizona went on that ultimately the put away drive, the 12-0 run that was the difference in the game. Houston had opportunities to either extend their lead or keep up with the Wildcats and have it be back and forth. That was free throw shooting. Going back to it's in the small details. Emmanuel Sharp has a chance on a 1-and-1, misses the front end. Arizona goes down, and they control the ball. Sacco on a very great pass from Kingston. He's got to dunk that. Like that should be an N1. He tries to lay it up. He misses, gets fouled on the putback, but then misses the 2 free throws. Those are little plays, and then going back to what you said, Kris, when it comes to timely rebounding, unable to secure the board, less than 2 minutes left. When you're down 6, I think at that point, there were, if you were going to have any chance of making a comeback, you have to get that rebound. Instead, Arizona does, and they're able to milk more time on the clock, and you're really battling an uphill battle after that. The game's practically over from that point because there's a minute, 20 seconds left, and now they have an extra 30, 20 seconds to take off the clock.
And Coach Sampson, he mentioned that Emmanuel missed the front end of it, the 1-and-1. Khalifa missing the 2 free throws. And
Iowa State and Milos Uzan missed.
Del Orso hit the 3
front end 1-on-1.
after a timeout. They, late on that coverage. Devil's in the details. Right now, the little things that Houston used to capitalize on, on other teams, they haven't this week. So we'll see what they do on Monday. Go ahead.
Also for Milos, man, I gotta hold him more accountable as well because of how he played down the stretch and even second part of the season so well to get his name considered of being drafted and coming back with the mindset of elevating his draft stock, a la Jamal Shead, Marcus Sasser. He hasn't done it in my eyes.
He
Has
Agreed.
not done it. And so he has to play a lot better, not just making shots, but also getting downhill and finishing well because he's a big body guard. He has to play better. I mean, I still think he will be a pro, but he has to play better. I mean, he has to play better.
Yeah, right now he's just a jag. It's just another guy out on the court for Houston. 3 of 8 for a senior, like you mentioned, Kris, a senior. That in games like that, how good Kingston has been this season, how good Chris Sinak was on that stretch. You rely on your seniors to help lead you, especially when you're having this type of atmosphere, this crazy big game feel. And to only have 8 shots in the game, had 9 points, only 3 assists. It's too quiet for, like you said, Dayon, someone that is coming back. The only reason he came back was to improve his draft stock and ultimately to be a bona fide first-round pick, and it just hasn't been there. He's not having the type of caliber season that we saw from Jamal Shead and from Marcus Sasser at this point, February 21st.
Not even close. And he's in a different role, playing off the ball more with Kingston having the ball and doing more spot-up threes. But against good teams, good defenses, Milo struggles to beat guys one-on-one. He does not have elite quickness. Coach Sampson has said that. That Milos is not an elite guard when it comes to quickness. So we have to figure out ways and angles to be able to get by his defender. And he has done that enough. And he's missing his floater too much in the paint as well. So a lot of different guys are not playing well up to what they did last season. Milos, JoJo, most definitely.
Big time. Yeah.
But they've lost 2 in a row. I think they're going to win Monday in Kansas. They're going to find a way. That's going to be an interesting game because Kansas coming off a thumping loss to Cincinnati at home, and we'll see.
Overlook the Bearcats.
That game, I watched that game. Cincinnati big. I think
Mustafa
that's the one that got hurt against State.
Yeah.
He dominated.
He sure did.
Dominated.
And y'all know me. I'm old school. I love seeing bigs and score. First down low, and then Mustafa said, "Yeah, I'm gonna make some threes too." So he did it inside and outside. So yeah, Houston's so overrated. So I guess this loss by Arizona means nothing. So yep, you're right. Yeah, that's it. That's the mindset to take. So your loss, go away. Loss meant nothing. I'll beat an overrated team. So that's right. It meant nothing. You're right. Yep, you're right. Big 12 was overrated too. So yep. Full overrated teams. That's right, scout team. You are right.
going back to Milos, just to put the kind of final stamp on that, but even him being off ball, I still feel like it's too just passive. Even
no
in
question.
Marcus's senior year, his last year here, he was off ball a lot. But when it was time, he was fearless. Like, he wanted the ball, and he was going to go out there. He was going to get you a quality basket. He was going to attack. And that just hasn't been the case so far.
That's not Milos.
With Milos. Yeah.
Especially this year. That is not Milos.
And that's
Houston needs
unfortunate
Milos
because
Houston needs a Milos that played well
in the Big 12
up to the Final
tournament
Four.
and in the NCAA tournament. Yep.
Yeah, up to the Final Four. That Milos, the one that was draft worthy, helped Houston win games. The Final Four Milos, we've seen a lot of that this Milos this year so far. But he has time to improve and play better and get on the right track.
Yeah, 5 regular season games left. He had the Big 12 tournament. And like you said, Chris, that game on Monday, it's really, really important for Houston. They lose that game. And, like you mentioned, we were walking out of the tunnel. That might be they'll be playing Wednesday in the Big 12 tournament, which ultimately Houston's big goal is to win the NCAA tournament. The last thing you want is to have to play an extra game when you don't want to add any extra load on y'all when you don't need to. You just go down and execute. So it's really good. It's a really big game, I should say, Monday against Kansas, who's going to be really motivated because that's a bad loss for them against the Bearcats.
Yep, they're only, let's see. I mean, Texas Tech, you would think they're going to lose and miss JT Toppin, so they have 4 losses. You would
BYU.
You would think.
You would think BYU would fall a little bit,
but
too.
Houston has to finish ahead of Texas
State,
Tech.
Arizona. How many losses in conference play does Kansas have?
4.
Okay, so right now you're. I mean, yeah, that's big there. It's the only time y'all beat. So if you or play, I should say. So if Houston falls, then Kansas has a tiebreaker over you.
Yep. And then Houston is 4th. Now if Texas Tech wins, so yeah, Houston could. They're going to need some help. I mean, I think Iowa State's going to lose it at BYU tonight. That'll help. But Houston needs to win. Get back on the winning track. Get back to doing little things to win, and need production from different guys. And
when's the last time Houston lost 3 in a row?
Heck, question. I was wondering.
That's
Conrad put it. When's the last time they lost 2 in a row? First
last time they lost 2 in a row was when they opened Big 12 play in 2023.
Yeah. So I think that was it. That was the last time of that. So 3 in a row. Who knows? Yep.
I don't. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen them lose 3 in a row. It's been way bad. You're going past 2019.
But and I think someone pointed out earlier in the comments from our viewers watching us on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, this team doesn't have an LJ, don't have a dead-eye shooter. Emmanuel is a streaky shooter. Okay? With his form on his shot that Fluff hates. You wouldn't teach, you wouldn't coach it. But he took a shot early in the first half when Arizona was up maybe 6, 8, whatever. Early in the shot clock. That was a bad shot. It was a shot he was taking heat check shots when he wasn't hot. He never got hot. He took that pull-up shot, and Coach Sampson yelled at him, Emmanuel, why? Things like that. Those kind of shots. He has deep range. We all know that. The 6 threes he made, that seemed like a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago. He made 6 threes in the first half. Sometimes he takes shots. He truly has that fluorescent green light that Coach Sampson talks about of previous players. But his shots that he sometimes takes are just like, no, Manuel, that's questionable. Oh, no, yes. I was glad he got the free throw line, though. But down the stretch, he took some hard hits with no call.
Yeah. He took a couple of really, really. He's going to feel those tomorrow. And that's obviously not what you want when it's a quick turnaround Monday to Kansas. But yeah, he took some pretty big bumps. It's kind of been a trend for him all season long.
And it's how he attacks the basket, how he goes off, how he jumps. I mean, he throws his body into the defender, and he really tries to draw the contact sometimes. But he really sometimes, more times than not, I think, he doesn't give himself a chance to finish the and one. Because he's kind of off balance, and he goes in hoping to get that call by the ref, so if the ref doesn't give him a call, then he misses the shot.
To the comment that LJ to who was that? CB Day, Tona,
Mm-hmm.
LJ locked a lot of LJ unlocked a lot of March Madness Milos. He did in a sense, but a lot of that LJ was in the pick and roll in which Milos was catching and shooting, and so he's still kind of in that has those same type of plays to make the plays. He just isn't making them in a sense. Then also, to the Emmanuel point, in which Emmanuel got to be on the floor, but still, we have other scorers on the team who can do more than catch and shoot, and we need them. Honestly, we just need them. We need more people who can score versus just catching and shooting.
And but I wonder if Coach said we got to do some things different, do some changes. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do that? That's the thing. We all have much respect for Coach Sampson, but he is very set in his
Stubborn.
ways and his coaching philosophy, and it's worked a lot over the years. But there are stretches in games where the offense bogs down, especially against other good defensive teams, and you need different offensive threats, whether another person tack them off the dribble, somebody to score in the mid-range, somebody to score in the low post, something that you can make it easier on yourself to get shots rather than 3-point shots. So
can you hear Joe Gleason's ABC report from the background, Chris? He's echoing for Fertitta Center. I can hear it across. I mean, we've hit on all the points. Ultimately, it's going to come down to. I'd be curious to see what kind of adjustments or changes we see starting Monday.
I want to see
Against
Chase more. I ain't
Kansas.
gonna lie too.
And Chase
He did a good job defensively.
He's
today.
He's a small ball 4, and they don't use him enough as well.
You could probably use him with a lot more pick and pops or ghost screen actions and get him a couple more open shots. Because right now
he took 3 shots.
Yeah,
yep, on
really
him
the
with
shots.
Chris. That way you can put Chris in that mid post and let Chase kind of be in that role where Chris is. I ain't giving up on JoJo, but man,
he's struggling.
It's not so much. I mean, in a way we are, because he's not getting it done this year. Okay, and you have to give guys a chance who are going to give you a chance to win against those good teams you're going to face down the stretch. And right now, JoJo isn't not one of those guys.
And it's only certain players that coaches allow him to play through mistakes.
Tonight,
I mean,
that's true. That's a fact. We see it.
Tonight, Khalifa Sacco played more minutes than JoJo. Granted, foul trouble, like
again,
more often than not. But 20 minutes for Sacco, 18 minutes for Tugler. And that wasn't all foul trouble. Sampson benched him early in the first half after he had thrown the ball away. Yeah. So JoJo's really, really, like you said, Chris, has struggled.
It seemed like Sacco had more than 2 blocks to me, but that's the stats say.
He was swarming. He's doing a really good job of helping whenever Arizona's guards would drive and get all the way to the
too much. And let's say that as well. Arizona's guards, Jaden Bradley specifically,
they were aggressive. They were going. He went
right. He went right so many times, driving right almost every damn time. And when he beat Houston's guards off the dribble and attacked the basket, the big Khalifa had to come over and help. And that opened up putback chances.
Rotation open.
So all those things. Yeah. And this has been an issue. I think our viewers have said it throughout these shows this year on Let's Rage Cougs. Houston's perimeter defense is not as good as it's been in previous years. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So if you're getting beat on the perimeter, that disrupts the inside defense because they have to go over and rotate and recover, and then you got to rotate to fill up that spot. So we're finding a lot of different things that are areas for improvement for this team, but they are still 23-4 and in second place in the Big 12. But the goal hasn't changed. It's getting more difficult, but the goal is to end the season getting those 6 straight wins. It's more and more difficult now. Being a 1 seed is probably out the window.
Yeah, I think the only chance, and even then it's a long shot, is if they win out the
But
rest of the
the
way.
irony is, if UConn is the 1 seed and Houston has to win the rest of their games, that'll help. But if UConn is the 1 seed in the South, Houston could be the 2 seed in the South. You don't want Iowa State to be the 1 seed in the South because Houston cannot be the 2 seed in the South.
To the conference?
Because of 4, 5, 6, affiliation. And ironically, you need Texas Tech to still be that 5th Big 12 team among the top 16 because that forces the committee to have 2 Big 12 teams in the same region. If it's only 4 Big 12 teams in the top 16, that's going to be 1 in each region. And that increases the chances of Houston not being that 1 in the South, that 1 team, that Big 12
Especially
team.
if Iowa State is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So you kind of want Texas Tech to start losing to fall out of the top 16. To keep winning. So they could be that 5th Big 12 team in the top 16. I'm sorry.
Thunder Philly, again, glass half full. So Florida was 22-8 last year in the SEC. 22-8, and obviously they went on their run, and ultimately that's what matters.
No doubt. I mean,
yeah, we ain't giving up on this team.
No question. We're just pointing out a lot of things that need to be fixed.
That's a good point.
Because the like I said, the goal is still the same for Houston to play their best basketball starting in round 1 of the NCAA tournament. That's the goal. That's what matters.
Everything else is icing.
We're still going to be Kansas City to experience, the environment, the vibe, the atmosphere, the great games, the DJ after party, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 straight wins. And I understand, Michigan is looking great. Duke's playing great. Iowa State's doing their thing. Illinois, a lot of good teams. There are a lot of good teams.
But we don't have to beat every single team.
That's
every
right.
single one of those teams.
All you got to do is beat 16 you face. That's all you got to do. And just one time. This year, I think, and it doesn't matter what I'm about to say, this year's team could not win. I don't think I'd pick this year's team to win a 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7 against a few teams. But all I got to do is beat that team one time. That's all that matters.
I don't know. That's a good debate because I think Kingston is such a smart player that I can't see him having multiple subpar or even bad games against a team.
But I'm not sure if this year's team is good enough in other areas with JoJo and other issues that they could beat like a Michigan 4 times.
Also, I'm well, no, dang, yeah, I might be. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And let me say this real quick, Andy. I'm sorry. Dayon touched on it, hinted at it. Mercy's rope is so short that if he gets beat defensively, if he has a bad rotation, a bad foul, he's done. Okay? And that's unfortunate. I'm going to say it now.
Has to be deflated.
Because I was hoping to get Malik Wilson to join us to ask him, because Malik,
he's had similar experience.
He had to earn coach's trust, and I'm sure it was frustrating.
He would give a great perspective.
So that's why I was hoping to get him to join us on the show. He's in town. He was here, but the press conference started late and pushed everything back, so he had to leave. But hopefully, maybe Monday, if he's, I'll reach out to him and see if he can join us Monday. Hopefully, that'd be the later start. Late start for him. So I'm not sure if he's going back overseas to play or what. But I'll reach out to him and see if he can try to join us Monday.
Let's shout out our sponsors on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian for being the primary sponsor of this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, the original Houston postgame show after each and every single men's basketball and football game. We'll be right back at it Monday night following Houston, Kansas, to discuss everything that happened between the Jayhawks and the Cougars. Of course, a big thank you to today's secondary sponsor in Star Pizza Houston, with multiple locations throughout the Houston area. Star Pizza is your go-to stop before or after the game. Check them out online at starpizza.net. Their social media platform, Star Pizza HOU on X, Star Pizza Houston, Texas on Instagram. Next time you're at any one of their locations, tell them you heard about them here on Let's Rage Coogs. Kris, you got some really, really good Star Pizza right next to you real quick that the moment we go off air, we'll dig into. Star Pizza is so good in the middle of a game. This was in the midst of Houston making their run in that second half. You could smell the Star Pizza in the whole media section right there. Very, very good. So go get yourself some Star Pizza.
And, salute to Mike Pittman, because Star Pizza also provided the post-game pizzas for the team. So he added us to the order. He added LRC to the team's order for us to have pizza. Another reason I was hoping Malik could join us so he can get some Star Pizza. But hopefully, another time we'll get that taken care of. And who knows, maybe we'll do something unique in Kansas City during the tournament. Stay at a team hotel, or have, some kind of relationship with one of the team hotels, whatever. Put something out there. Who knows?
Once again, the final score from inside the Fertitta Center, Arizona, fourth-ranked Arizona, comes away with a 73-66 victory from the Wildcats' perspective. Great bounce back this week after they had not only lost their first game of the year, but lost back-to-back games. Kind of similar situation to Houston finds itself now, and they were able to look at themselves in the mirror and, tighten the ship, and now they're sailing, and they're still in a little bit of a rough patch in their schedule, so we shall see how they come out on the other side of it. For Houston, they're facing adversity in Big 12 conference play now, dropping back-to-back, and they have a tough challenge on Monday night at Kansas. The box score, Kingston Flemings led the way for Houston in scoring. He had 17 points, 1 of 4 shooting from the three-point line, 6 of 17 from the field. He had 8 rebounds. Kingston did a great job coming away with defensive rebounds. He also had 4 assists, was in foul trouble 2, got early foul trouble, and also finished with 2 turnovers. Kristen Ag had 10 points, 13 rebounds in the loss for Houston. Emmanuel Sharp was the second leading scorer for Houston. He had 14 points, 2 of 11 shooting, did get to the free throw line 9 times. Like you said, Kris, was 8 of 9 from the free throw line. And Milos Uzan was the fourth leading scorer. He had 9 points with 3 assists and only 1 rebound in the game for Houston. Now it's on to Kansas. You got to flip over the page and let's see how Houston reacts and reflects after dropping back-to-back games for the first time since 2023. And really, this is going to be the first time that, they're, I wouldn't say they're in any dire situation, but you lose 3 in a row in Big 12 play, then it's a really, really different perspective about where you're kind of going, both in the Big 12 tournament and seeding wise. It'd be interesting to see how that could potentially impact. You go from being borderline 1 seed to
this shows how spoiled we are as Houston fans.
Yes.
Hey, we're talking about 1 seeds and 2 seeds, 3 seeds versus being in the tournament. We're spoiled, man.
I mean, that's facts, brother. I mean, truly, because come so far, and that we're disappointed in where the team is, and they're 23-4 and 11-3 in the Big 12. Or is that right? 11, 12. What is it?
11-3 in the Big 12, 23-4 overall.
But Jaden Bradley, last 2 games for Arizona, either the previous game he had 10 assists. Tonight he had more shot attempts. He made free throws down the stretch. He missed his first 4 free throws in the game, but finished 5, made 5 of his last 6, and those were clutch free throws down the stretch. So he's a senior. He played like a senior down the stretch, helped his team win. Del Orso, I'm hoping, and we're talking about all these things and giving credit to Arizona. Del Orso rolled his ankle down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
For them, I hope that's not a serious injury, because we still don't know how serious Cole Pete's injury is. Well, they taped it up and tied his shoes tighter, but it could swell up on him, going back. But hopefully they're not in a situation where they run out of bodies, healthy bodies, because I want as many Big 12, in addition to Houston, I want as many Big 12 teams to go as far in the NCAA tournament as possible, because I still believe this is the best conference in college basketball. So to prove that, they got to go far in the big dance. So good luck to Arizona and Iowa State and Kansas. We'll see what Texas Tech does without JT Toppin. And of course, I want my mater, to cut down the nets and get those 6 straight wins.
All right. Any final thoughts on Houston, Arizona, and looking ahead at Kansas? What's it gonna take for Houston to be able to shake off the 2-game back-to-back losses?
Well, we know Houston won't get any low post scoring, so there won't be any Mustafa Thiam scoring in low post like Cincinnati did today. But they got to find different ways to score close to the basket. They got to force turnovers and score off those turnovers. They have to seal defensive possessions with defensive rebounds and push the pace and score in transition. They have to do a better job of scoring in transition and not relying on half-court sets, because this team struggles. I mean, Kansas defense is better, has gotten better this season, but it's not Arizona and Iowa State defense. But they have to do
I
that.
went on the last time Kansas lost 2 at home back-to-back.
Yeah. So a lot's on the line come Monday.
Lots on the line?
A lot.
Before we wrap up, what do y'all think about that comment from Juan Q7 about the youth on this year's team? He said this team is too young and is lacking in rebounding ability.
No, but Houston won the rebound today. They just didn't get the timely ones. They won the battle of the boards today. So that wasn't it. And I think, and they won the battle of the boards against Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Points off turnovers. This team thrives off of that. These last 2 games, today and Monday, Iowa State, 12 zip points off turnovers. Today, Arizona, 16-3 points off turnovers.
Agreed. I mean, that's where Gold Sampson got to come into play, to where you can't, teams got to scout them for it, get back on defense. And so that's where in the half court, he and staff got to do a better job of getting some type of scheme and some type of. I mean, I know he's trying to do the NBA game, hunt matchups and attack that matchup, but at some point, I mean, you got to change up the sets. I mean, Fluff is asking for it, he got to do it. That comment about not too complicated, I think that's spot on. Coach G was expecting a jump from JoJo. I know he missed the time, but all that's excuses in my opinion. He's been on the court all year. I mean, it's time, brother. It's time.
Points off turnover, Arizona had the edge 16-3 tonight in this game.
Last 2 games combined 28-3 for the opponent against Houston. Points off turnovers, 28-3. That's 2 losses by a combined 10 points. 3 Monday, 7 today. Outscored by 25 points. Points off turnovers in games you lost by a total of 10 points. There you go right there. So being young in this February, Fluff said in previous shows, you're no longer a freshman in February. You're not a freshman in February. Turnovers and points off turnovers. What is it? 2 of the last 3 games? When was it? Houston's had 12 turnovers or more.
Yeah, 2 out of the last 3 games going back to the game before Iowa State.
The Kansas State, right?
Yep, they had 15, I believe, in that game.
And a lot of those in one half.
So kind of like today.
Yeah.
That above all else, if there's one thing that should be concerning, it should be that. That's the biggest concern. Especially since the way they kind of come in bunches at times. Like early in the first half, there were a lot of uncharacteristic just turnovers. And then those are really deflating, especially when your opponent comes around and hits a big shot to really make you pay on top of it.
Yeah, some of those are careless. Playing passing lanes. Arizona was being aggressive playing the passing lanes. But as Houston, you have to see that and go back door. If they're playing the passing lane, cut behind that man. You got a layup, and that'll help your offense. So, we're finding a lot of things wrong with this team on a 2-game losing streak. Got to figure it out. Quick turnaround. Tough environment on Monday. And hopefully something is going to – we'll have to go into the record book and see. When was the last time Kansas lost 2 in a row at home? We know it'll be Bill Self's first loss on Big Monday at home. So a lot of different things on the line. We want Houston to not fall to 3rd or 4th place in the Big 12 because, as Andy said, lose a head-to-head matchup Monday, You're behind Kansas in the standings. Are you rooting for UConn to win out now? Today's a loss, probably. Because you want UConn to be the 1 seed. Yeah. And I'm not sure UConn can beat St. John's. St. John's beat the team that beat UConn, beat Creighton today by 29 points. Creighton won UConn on Wednesday. So right now, St. John's playing better than UConn. But teams have to figure it out. Coaches have to figure it out. That's why they get paid well. Coach Sampson, Coach Hurley, other coaches, teams going through it right now. But as one of our viewers pointed out, Big 12 tournament, Florida did not play well until the tournament, until postseason, and they got it done. Hey, we're good with that. If Houston stubs their toe right now, but figures it out and wins it all, we won't care about all this. But for my brothers, hold on, I got something to share with y'all when we get off air.
That's pretty much going to do it for this edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Big thank you to everybody that took the time out of their Saturday evening to join us on this edition of LRC. Like I said at the top of the show, the original Houston Postgame show going back to the 2022 season. So this isn't our first time around the block. We've been at it 4 years now. If you are interested in being a sponsor on Let's Rage Coogs as we gear up for the Big 12 tournament and beyond, March is right around the corner. Reach out via the email that you see on the screen, let'sragecoogs@gmail.com. Also, make sure you hit the follows if it's your first time ever interacting with us. Like you see it scrolling on the ticker below, but you can follow us on X at PodSlamajama, Instagram and TikTok. It's all lowercase, Let's Rage Coogs. Again, X at PodSlamajama, Instagram and TikTok, Let's Rage Coogs, all lowercase. If you're watching us here on the PodSlamajama YouTube channel, be sure you hit the like to the video, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're watching on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitch, make sure you hit the follow on those platforms as well. Hit subscribe if you're watching on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Big thank you to all of you guys that commented and were a part of the show. And we'll be back Monday night to talk everything about Houston, Kansas. The final score from inside the Fertitta Center one last time. Arizona, 4th-ranked Arizona, walks away with the 73-66 victory over the 2nd-ranked Houston Cougars. Houston falls to 23-4, 11-3 in Big 12 play, while Arizona improves to 25-2, 12-2 in Big 12 play. That's going to do it for me, Chris. I'll toss it over to you.
Yep, real quick. I just saw this on social media. Want to say rest in peace to Joey Knight, Tampa Bay Times sports writer. Met him during time when Houston was in the American, and he always helped me out. He passed away yesterday after a 2-year battle with cancer. So condolences to his friends, colleagues, and family. But this game, to our viewers, thank you for your comments, questions, and interest and support. Spread the word. Tell your friends about the original post-game show. That's LRC, Let's Rage Coogs. Come back again Monday. Going to be a late one, 8 o'clock start. I think the Cougs will figure some things out and get the win on Monday, and we'll discuss it with a win. I'm not going to say the other thing I was going to say, with a win. So kudos to my man Dayon and Andy. Sorry we could not get Malik Wilson to join us. We'll figure that out and try to get him on the future show. But to everyone, I still love the Big 12. I still love what we do. Houston Round Ball Review since 1994. The Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective.
Man, shout out to the squad, man. Tough one. All of us, I know, share the same incident. We still riding with this team. I still believe this team can cut the nets down. But we just critique our game, reacting or anything like that. Just critiquing what we saw tonight, combined with the all season. I mean, because we watched the game in season, so still feel very confident. I mean, we lost to a good team today. I mean, one of the best teams in the country. No shame in that. No shame in that whatsoever. I think we will bounce back. We'll learn from it. This loss is a lesson, and so I still feel very, very good. And I'm always grateful to be alongside you guys on this post game show. Can't wait to do it in person, man. We got to link up real, real soon to make it happen. Looking forward to it. Shout out to Fluff. They in the May Hoops tournament, real big tournament on the youth level. They got their first win to advance, so they got another one. Shout out to him. I'm looking forward to Big Monday. I mean, it's going to be a big game. I'm looking forward to Big Monday. with the way Cincinnati dominated in the post. I wonder, will we try to do the same or be able to at least not necessarily attack in the post, but attack in the mid post. So when I say post, I mean not back to back. So I'm looking forward to it, man. But win, lose, or draw, it's always go Coogs.